Hey guys, what's up? It's Josh. Welcome back to my video, and this one is going to be about the interview at USC. I just filmed my essays video, so please go watch that too. And, well, I'm trying to save time, so let's get into this. So how did I get selected for the full tuition scholarship at USC? So first things, just general things, apply by December 1st. USC has a scholarship deadline. You have to apply by then if you want to be considered for scholarships. In late January, you'll get your scholarship decision. Some people are accepted early and told for what scholarship that they were nominated for, and you have to go to campus and like schedule which dates you want to go, and you have to interview and stuff like that. Not everyone gets nominated for a scholarship clearly. I think only like 1% of the applicant pool does, and that includes half tuition scholarships and the full tuition scholarships. Everyone else is deferred to the rest of the applicant pool consideration. So if you don't get accepted for scholarships, don't worry, like you still definitely have a chance at getting in. So I got nominated for the trustee or the full tuition scholarship, and others get nominated for the half tuition scholarship or the presidential. You can get bumped to full tuition from presidential if you do really well on your interview. Like I believe 10 people got bumped up or something like that. It was a very low number. And if you get nominated for the full tuition scholarship, you can also get bumped down to half tuition. With whatever scholarship that you apply for, you can get bumped down to a quarter tuition or just the $4,000 a year director's scholarship. So really don't take anything for granted. I talked to a lot of people that did get bumped down, and they were kind of surprised at how many people got bumped down. So don't like go in expecting to get the full tuition scholarship and then like be disappointed when you get bumped down to a quarter tuition, because that did happen. I believe you can also be bumped up to the MORC scholarship, which is the full tuition plus a stipend, or the STAMP scholarship, which you have to do another interview for. And that's only like 5 people each that end up getting those scholarships, so it's super rare. So about half the people that get nominated for these scholarships get the scholarship that they were nominated for. The rest either get bumped up or bumped down, most likely bumped down. So the experience itself. So you fly to USC, but I drove since I was close. If you can't afford the flight, they will give you a travel voucher to go, so don't worry about that. You stay with a current student there. Most of us stayed in the McCarthy Honors College, which is pretty much where all the kids who get scholarships go, because like this McCarthy is, it's just so nice. It's one of, I believe, 2 dorms on campus that have air conditioning, and also it's just, it looks like a hotel inside. It was nicer than most hotels I'd been to. And yeah, you stay with the current student host. They will introduce you to like campus and show you around later in the day. So it's a 2-day experience. The first day is just panels, sitting in on classes, meeting up with people, and it's pretty chill. At night you get shown around by a student host, and it's pretty cool. But yeah, don't stay out too late because you have your interview the next morning. So on the second day, the interview. I had the very first interview possible, like in the whole scholarship round. I had the very first scholarship weekend, like that's the one I went to. And also, I had the very first interview on interview day. So I had mine at 9 a.m. So a little bit of a fun story with this. My host didn't tell me that I had to move my stuff out of the dorm before my interview. So I was like showering and stuff, chilling, and not really rushing too much. And then as soon as I get dressed and I step out of the bathroom, my host is like, you have to be out of this dorm by your interview. And my interview had been scheduled like in 20 minutes, so and it was like a 10-minute walk, so I rushed so much just to like get all my stuff crammed into my suitcase, and like to run I had to put everything in like plastic bags, and just honestly I looked like I was bringing trash into the interview place. So the interview itself. I got to the interview place, which was one of the engineering buildings. I forgot which one it was. And as soon as I walk in, the lady who's like checking everyone in is like, hey, is Josh here? I'm like, yeah! So I just leave all my stuff in the lobby, because at that point that was the only thing on my mind, the interview. So we go up the stairs to this waiting room, and as soon as I got there, my name gets called again, and this lady comes to pick me up, and I start ranting to her about how I was almost late and I was super anxious and stressed, and my host didn't tell me I had to move out of the room. She was like, oh my gosh, that sucks so much, I'm so sorry. We get to the office for the interview. And this lady sits down. She was one of my interviewers. And at that point, I was just like, oh my god, what did I do? Why did I tell her all these things? The people that were there in that tiny office with me were a professor, an academic advisor, and a student who was in the honors college. And the student was a lady that picked me up. And yeah, I was just so stressed. Like, as soon as I sit down, the lady that picked me up asked me a question and the interview starts right away. And I had to be like, oh, well, I guess we're getting right into this. And then everyone was like, wait, no, we'll introduce ourselves first. I was like, heck yeah, Josh, that's some good time management skills. I was able to like slow down the situation, calm myself a little bit more, and stop shaking and sweating profusely. So yeah, after I got settled, they started asking me some questions. So these were some of the questions they asked me. They asked me about my essays and told me to expand on some topics. If you watch my scholarship essay video, they talked to me a lot about my essay on the media. They asked me something about how I want to apply that knowledge to solving world problems and making an impact. So they asked me about how people would describe me, like including my teachers, my family, my friends, and they also asked me about like influential people in my life. They asked me about like if there was a favorite teacher that I had and how did they affect me in my education. And yeah, it was pretty wholesome. I kind of like calmed down a bit by that point. I was just gushing about like how much I love my teachers, and I was just really happy to be there and really thankful for everything that got me there. They asked me what role I want to create for myself on campus, and all in all, the interview was just very personal, and I had to remember quite a bit about my essays, so I really suggest reading them ahead of time. So thankfully I did that the night before, so I kind of really knew my essays really well and knew what things I talked about. They asked me what questions I had for them, and they also apparently asked other interviewees or other people who were being interviewed if USC was their first choice, but I think they forgot to ask me that because I had the very first interview. And yeah, some people were like, oh, it's my first choice if I get the scholarship, or I can only attend this place if I get the full tuition scholarship. Please don't lie, there are actually people that need this scholarship who are middle class and like struggle to make ends meet at a private school out of state. So if you're rich, please don't like say I need this to attend, just as a courtesy to other people. Some tips for the interview. This isn't like any other college interview. You might have had some before this interview gets around, but basically like it's not really just a conversation. You can't just go in and BS your way into success, like I kind of did for most of my other interviews. You actually have to know what you wrote on your essays, be knowledgeable about things about yourself, and yeah, it's not really just a conversation, but you can take a casual tone. It's pretty formal. I had to dress up in a suit for it. Be prepared to talk about your interests. Reread your essays and know what you said in them. Remember clubs that you want to join on campus and how you want to get involved. Know what research opportunities / classes or extracurriculars the school offers, and talk about being able to take part in them. Also, definitely have questions prepared when you go into the interview, like questions for them to show your interest in the school and maybe to actually learn more about the school. It really helps to love USC and just to bleed USC. That's what they're looking for here, that if they give the money to you, they're not wasting their money on anyone, or they're not making scholarship offers that are just gonna get rejected. And although I do feel kind of bad for rejecting the offer, like USC was a really good fit for me. I just really wanted to be far away from home, so that's not something that they could control. And I was really appreciative of the opportunity to do all of this. Also, more tips. Talk confidently and don't leave time for silence. If you have to think about the answer to a question, say something to make it clear that you're thinking. It's more important that it's not really the things you say, but the way that you say them. That matters more in these interviews. So the school actually gave us a little bit of advice before the interview and just gave us a little bit of an overview of what happened, or what happens in the interview, and just how to do well in it. One of the things they said is just to speak confidently and just pretend at least that you know what you're saying. So what I did when I had to take time to answer questions, they would ask me something like super personal and I'd be like, oh gosh, that's a good question. I would say, and then just kind of lengthen that time, and Once I started talking, I was thinking while I was talking, and then it worked out well in the end. And as in any interview, just be yourself. I personally just made sure to like crack jokes, laugh, smile, be friendly, and just be me while I was there. I think that really helps with how personable you can be in these contexts, because like if they like you, it's more gonna stick out in their brain that they liked you as a person than, oh my gosh, I was impressed by how much this kid knew. So yeah, thanks for watching my video. Like, subscribe, and comment down below. Thanks for supporting me, and to all the new viewers from the past few weeks that I've been doing this. And yeah, I'll see you in my next video. I'll be posting Tuesdays and Fridays from now on until school should start. And yeah, alright, thanks.